So I gotta do this. I gotta explain to you kids why Eldritch Blast is the best freaking cantrip ever. Which I don't know why I'm saying kids, because according to my algorithms, most of y'all are probably going to be older than me. But Eldritch Blast, why don't you think it's the best cantrip ever? I'm going to tell you why it is. Because recently in my Instagram, where I'm slowly getting more success on it than I am this channel, I posted a meme about Eldritch Blast, which was honestly the thumbnails of this video, and a lot of people discussing, is it the best cantrip ever? What's so great about it? Why would you only use it? Why is Warlock so great? Because they only have so many spell slots. I'm going to show you why Warlock is what it is and why it's so good. And why Eldritch Blast, I feel like, makes up for some of their shortcomings when it comes to spells. So, this video, I'm going to show an entire build just solely focusing on Eldritch Blast. Not really focusing on the other Warlock spells, just solely what you could do probably with Eldritch Blast alone. And that is it. So, for this build, it's pretty easy. First, I'm going to say take the first 18 levels in Warlock. It's really what you need. And it's because cantrips, all cantrips, how they work is as you get stronger, they get stronger as well. Like, Firebolt starts as D10, but at level 5 it goes to 2D10. Then it goes to 3, then it goes to 4. And that is honestly the strongest form of it. But Eldritch Blast functions different than all other cantrips in the sense that while they all just get stronger, Eldritch Blast actually becomes 4 different blasts. So while that has the downfall of possibility more missing, you have 4 different attacks. And for how Eldritch Blast can get modified, that's where it gets really good. Because Warlocks, one thing I think is really cool and unique about them is while all things focus more on the spells they cast, their magic is like more buffs to themselves, like their invocations. Because 18th level, you get all of 8 of your invocations you will need, and invocations basically are magical augments that Warlocks have. They can be really good at a specific thing or have extra abilities. And a lot of them actually function on Eldritch Blast, well, 5 of them, so a decent number of them. And all 5 of them make it a very viable spell. And so, for the invocations you would really need is, first off, the number one that really makes this Agonizing Blast, where you get to add your Charisma modifier onto a hit. So that automatically makes it that not only is your Eldritch Blast a D10, it's your Charisma on top of that. So say you have a 20 Charisma, you're going to be doing a possible 15 damage with the blast, or a minimum of 6. And that goes for all of them. So that means you have 4 different blasts at max level, all of them get your extra Charisma on top of it. So that's an extra 20 damage just base if you hit with all your attacks, not even including the die rolls. So that's handy as it is. Then the next invocation we'll talk about is Eldritch Spear. A spear that literally, this invocation makes your range on Eldritch Blast 300 foot. So you're already a sniper with this ability on top of that. Then these next 3 are more just how you want to build your character, but they are incredibly handy. And also add to more why the split factor of it is even better. And there's Repelling Blast, Grasp of Hadar, and Lance of Lethargy. And Repelling Blast pushes the enemy away for 10 foot for every time you hit that, so you could possibly knock an enemy 40 foot away. So with the average speed being 30 for most humanoids, something can just not reach you for an entire battle if they're a melee fighter. Then there's Grasp of Hadar, where you can pull them 10 feet closer. So if you're a sword warlock, that is definitely handy. Then there's the Lance of Lethargy, which reduces their speed by 10 foot. So you could reduce someone's movement to a crawl, pull them all the way to you if they're trying to escape, or push them all the way away from you. And one of the funnest abilities of this to me is pushing something off a ledge. Every warlock I do, I take Repelling Blast just in case I'm next to a cliff and I want to Fusrodah someone off of it. Can't believe I made a Skyrim reference. Okay, and that's mainly what you're going to need for invocations. The other ones, they're up to you how you want to do them, but those are the ones that really work for that. And next, I'd say is one feat you would need for this build is the Spell Sniper. And this is recommended just by me. You don't have to do this, but it makes it even more insane. It doubles the reach of your spells. And since you already have the Eldritch Spear ability, which is a 300 foot range, this makes it 600 foot. So you are an official sniper with Eldritch Blast. And also, other than that, you ignore cover and you gain another cantrip. So yeah, your Eldritch Blast is now one of the most versatile spells in the game with that alone. And now, this is kind of where the breakdown is. There's 2 spells you also need to take, which is Foresight and Hex. And I'll get to those in a second. but what they do is Foresight is it gives you advantage on everything you do for today. Basically, you have a very limited amount of divination, so you can see kind of the future, and that just buffs you when it comes to ability checks, I think saving throws and attack rolls. All of it advantage. And Hex is basically, it gives you an extra d6 every time you do damage to someone. And now finally, the actual Warlock build. I haven't talked about that yet, and that I'm going to go into. Weirdly, I believe the best for this build is actually the Hexblade Warlock, and solely because of the Hexblade Curse. And I'm going to get into all that in a second. And finally, the reason I said 18 levels in Warlock, not all 20, is there's another 2 that really add to it, where there's one move where you can do an absolutely insane amount of damage. And that's 2 levels should be in Fighter. So you can get Action Surge. Now here's the result of it. So essentially, what you would do at max level, if you're rolling that, is you roll you have 4d10 blasts, and all of them have plus 11 to hit, but they also have advantage onto the hits, and it'll require a little bit of setup, because first you need to put your Hexblade Curse on it, cast Hex, and have Foresight on yourself for all this. And because of the ability of the Hexblade Curse, you do your proficiency modifier on top of your normal damage, and if you took Agonizing Blast, you're adding a Charisma as well, so you have a minimum of plus 11 to hit, not assuming you haven't maxed out your Charisma through magical means. Then, on top of that, you also crit on a 19 or 20, and you have advantage to roll, so that's an even higher chance you crit. You add another d6 of necrotic damage on top of the roll. So if you crit, it will be 2d10 plus 2d6, since you double the dice. Your range is 600 foot, so if anybody's trying to get away from you, yeah, don't even worry about it. But then, on top of all that, you can Action Surge and double all that, because you can't cast 2 spells in a turn. You can cast 2 cantrips in a turn. So that makes it 8d10 blasts. Yeah. So think about it, if you even did Repelling Blast on top of that, you just knocked them 80 foot away on top of all of that, or pulled them 80 feet towards you, or just made it to where they have no movement speed for the next few rounds. Not literally, but close to it, just because of how insane that is. Okay, and yeah. And also, you may be wondering, hey, why have you talked about race yet? Get into that, because the race makes it even more insane. Race to pick for this is either Aasimar, either Fallen or Celestial. Reason for it is, on top of all the setup you have to do, if you activate your Radiant Soul or Necrotic Shroud on top of that, you have the ability that when you first hit on a turn, you either do Necrotic if you're Fallen, or Radiant if you're Celestial, on top of the damage of the first hit. So that is another 20 Radiant or Necrotic damage. So literally on one hit alone, you could possibly do 47 damage, if my math's right. And I'm pretty sure it is. I wrote all this down. I did research, people. I know it's the best cantrip. Do not doubt me. Don't come with me with weak excuses. Oh, they don't have spell slots. You don't need spell slots. You only need 2 for the spells I talked about, and that's it. Other than that, you are a cantrip master. And on top of that, you get someone to cast haste on you. My gosh, you are unstoppable. So yeah, rant over. Warlocks are amazing. Oh, Eldritch Blast is the best cantrip ever. Don't come with me that Firebolt crap. Oh, we got 4d10. Oh, it's just 40 damage possibly if you roll max. You're going to negate that in one blast with this done right. Don't come with me that weak stuff. I know what I'm doing. And that's the end of that. I'm joking around. Don't think I'm being too intense about this. I like Warlocks. Though, if I had a complaint about them, it would be I feel like they are a bit better if you multi-class them, but build right to a specific thing, they are really good. Like, I feel like this build would work really viable because of Fighter and Warlock, because since it's recommended Hexblade, a Fighter would mix pretty well with the Hexblade because you get the higher damage die, you get your Action Surge, you get the fighting style bonuses. It'd be pretty handy. And also, if you started Fighter, that'd give you proficiency in all armor, so that'd make up for the lack of your possible AC. And honestly, since you're doing only the Eldritch Blast, you could just save your other spells for like Shield and other stuff that you get with Hexblade. So yeah, thank you guys. I had fun with this build, and you want to see more ridiculous builds or want to hear me rant about why I think something's good or something's bad in D&D, just let me know. Yeah, warlocks are awesome. You should definitely play one sometime. They're well worth it. I do recommend someone who's played the game a little bit to try it, because if you burn all your stuff really early and don't really build your warlock right, it could fall a little short, because you got to be careful with it because of the fact that you do have a little less than some classes. But if you build them right, they can be amazing. They're a lot of fun. So, I'll see you guys. Y'all have a good day.